So are we about to see Bitcoin and Ethereum pull back here? Do you think a pullback is coming right now? Because it looks like kind of that's what's happening. So this is ETH versus Bitcoin, right? Which is the only thing that looks really super strong on these charts. ETH is really strong against Bitcoin. Look at that. That's the weekly close, right? Super strong. And it didn't even stop at the resistance. It just pushed right through it as if we're just going to head to the next super resistance level at 0.036. Just means ETH is strengthening against Bitcoin, and basically alt season is here. Like that resistance line at 0.30, it didn't even stop at all. Like, because you can see that's a pretty significant level, right? In the past, ETH versus Bitcoin ratio has always sort of stopped here, whether it's attacking from the top or from the bottom. But look at ETH. Look at Bitcoin right now. Bitcoin right now. So I'm going to show you guys a couple of signals today that that's got me worried. I'm not, just making stuff up. So first of all, we could probably interpret that as a topping tail, and you could say, well, on the way up, you had a topping tail here as well. I don't know how well you guys can see this, but this was also after a rise, topping tail. If you just go by, the singular topping tails, when it occurs by itself, it's not enough. We need to look for more evidence. Well, I've got some on-chain evidence to show everyone today, in the form of open interest, right? And they've been telling us the tops. They've been calling the tops pretty accurately. First, let's have a look at Bitcoin. That's something to keep in mind, right? Especially after a decent run up, we do a topping tail, right? If we do get a pullback, we'd need to hold this 110.5 area. Now for ETH, if Bitcoin does pull back, what if ETH doesn't pull back? What if when Bitcoin pulls back, ETH, okay, look at this. ETH is also putting in a kind of a topping tail pattern. You would probably call that. Yeah, I'm showing you guys the weekly chart. So weekly close is great. It even closed above this massive trend line. So I've drawn this yellow trend line that connects all the tops. Look at this. Major top, all-time high, major top, kind of just missed that one, through this one, and we've actually closed above it. So that's pretty good. Although some people might draw it through this top, and in that way we haven't reached it. So it's a natural place for a pullback. Really strong close, but a natural place for a pullback. And on the weekly, we can see, on the daily chart, we can see that a topping tail is kind of forming here. And once again, you can say that, hey, this was a topping tail, and this was already a big run up, right? From 2,100 to 3,000. That was a big run up, right? $900 run. So it was a fake out. So we can't trust these topping tails when they just occur by themselves. What if it does? I'll say up front, if the pullback does happen, then I'm expecting something like this, right? High 3,500s. Where would be the next support level? Let's see. Probably high 3,500s would probably give us a good support level, like 3,580, 3,560, something like that. Probably no real support level then lower until 3,300. I don't know if we get there unless Bitcoin has a massive pullback. So the other thing I would like to look at is that gets me a bit worried is see how accurately, right, this signal has called these pullbacks, right? Every time it fires, it calls these pullbacks. And we just had it fire kind of here, right? So what does this mean? So these are more signals. I'm trying to put more evidence together. Now, before we answer that question, first let's answer the question of which crypto exchange does Pablo Jimenez use? Well, Pablo uses this exchange that's non-KYC. That means you don't need to show your ID. That means even the exchange can't see who you are, right? So I've made this deal with them. So that means The exchange can't see you. The IRS can't see you. Tax office, FBI, CIA, nobody can see that it's you because you don't need to show your ID. So just by depositing, get 20% bonus, right? Deposit $100, get 20 USDT futures bonus. Deposit $1,000, get 200 USDT, and win up to $18,000 bonus. So there we go. Okay, limited time only. This offer finishes on 12th of August. And if you're watching it on YouTube, then the link is in the description below. But if you're on another platform such as this one, then that's okay. On any of them, just click on my profile page and there's my Stan link or my link tree, and it should be the first deal that pops up as soon as we click on it. There we go. Okay, let's get back to the markets, folks. And remember, this great deal is only available on the Pablo Himan link. Okay, so what I was talking about here, this is the Bitcoin versus altcoins open interest. Can we see that? See, it says open interest, right? But excluding Bitcoin. So basically, the green line here is Bitcoin trading open interest. And the yellow line is all alts combined. So usually people trade Bitcoin, but when alts are running and it's kind of an altcoin season like we are right now, like Pablo called it ahead of time, a few weeks ahead of time, then what happens is basically everyone piles into the alts and everyone's going long the alts and some might short the alts. And when the alts trading open interest is much higher, then that's problematic. Then that means market's getting overheated. I mean, this is, because this chart, covers all the way from 10 billion trading volume to 60 billion trading volume. So we can't see it very well, but you can see the yellow here. It's significantly above the green line. So the all alts combined trading volume is getting to be much larger than Bitcoin trading volume, right? On these spikes. And look at this. So on these spikes, it's easier now because the volumes because the trading volume is much larger. We can see that every time when it spikes up, we can see Bitcoin takes a pause or takes a pullback, right? Now, you remember this one was the December top, right? Bitcoin chopped around for a while and then went down to bottomed on April 4th. Do people remember that? These two, especially this one, was a huge signal in March 2024 because that called Bitcoin top at 73K and Bitcoin went into a 7-month pullback and bottomed right at 49K here because the Japanese reverse carry trade got exploded. This one also called a local top. This one, big top. This one, that was the top. That was 1 week before the market top of 2021. So that actually called the major top of 2021 at 69K. But what I would say is bear in mind this. It called the major top, and here also called the top because we're in a bear market, right? Here we were in a sideways pullback, so these signals worked out great. Here we're in a pullback, this signal worked out great. But what happens when the trend is really bullish? For example, here was the start of the bull trend. The start of the bull trend, as in that this was when BlackRock released the news that around here that they were going to list Bitcoin as an ETF, and Bitcoin got listed sometime around here. Yeah, around here. That spike was the Bitcoin listing. Here was the news when that came out. So in a bull market like this, when Bitcoin went from 15K up to 73K, take out the all-time high, in a bull run like this, what happens is that Bitcoin actually, when this signal came out, Bitcoin went mostly sideways. This went from 30K to 22K. You might say that's still kind of a 20 to 25% pullback, but on the charts it looks like it looks quite benign, looks quite non-threatening. And if you lived through that period in the markets, if you remember that period in the markets, didn't feel huge, didn't feel like it was a massive drop. And this one was also in a bull market. This was the drop to 28K from 64K to 28K. This was the last bull run. And then up to like, this is about 50 something K, pulled back to 39, 40K, and then on to 69K. So I think this is probably the most similar situation to us right now, because this was the last leg up of the bull run. You have basically last two legs up, which is, I think, what we're about to get. One leg up, pull back, not that big, okay. One leg up, pull back, and then two leg up. So basically, what we could see here, in my opinion, is we have one leg up, pull back, and that was still like a 20% pullback. Although on the charts, you look at that and you go, oh, it didn't feel that huge, didn't seem that huge, and then right, and then keeps going to 69K, which I'm not saying we will pull back here, but I think that the odds of a pullback is getting bigger now. And if we do get that pullback, I think what would happen is we'll get pullback like this, and then we go up. So basically, you would think if we do get a pullback, hopefully it stops above 100K, then that would make it only like a 20% pullback, and up we go. That's already pretty big, right? That's already pretty big. Alts are going to go down like 30% if that happened, 30-40%. Or hopefully, if the pullback does happen, I'm not saying it will happen, I'm saying if it does happen, then hopefully the pullback is, like I said, hold above 110.5K area, and then bounce up for a big crazy run. In terms of time-wise, if this pullback did happen, how long would it take? My theory, folks know that my theory has all this time been that I think where's Bitcoin? Okay, I think Bitcoin is going for a top around September to November. So if we're going for a September to November, and I think we top likely somewhere around the mid 100s area. So like 140 to be safe, 140 to 165, somewhere around that area, and it would happen between September to November. So somewhere around here is the top. So that if we did have a pullback, that doesn't give us a lot of time for a long pullback and then up. So if we did have a pullback, I'm thinking probably it'll get stopped above 110K. And because you also have the old top at 109K here, and it should be a short one, like 2 weeks at tops. So this is 21st of July. So like August would be first week of August would be here. 3 weeks at tops, mid-August at best. Stop above 110K if we had a pullback like that, and then blow off top. Right, maybe one or two more waves, something like this, and we top right here. Can go higher. That's just a sort of a realistic, expectation right now. So it's a hard one to call, but I would say as usual, I'm just reporting the facts. I don't like to be all out bullish, and I don't like to be all out bearish. Just telling you guys the facts, and if there are danger signals, if there are warnings, maybe take some profits off the table. Still, hold some big bags of coins that you have strong conviction in. Well, that's what I'm doing. So then eventually, I do think we get that blow off top. I've been calling for it for a long time now, and we are. It looks like we're closer and closer than ever to that blow off top. So I want to be holding big bags when we get there. But however, because the signals I've just shown, we could get that pullback. That threat wasn't there last week. It wasn't there even 3 days ago. So now that threat is there. I'd think about lightening up the bag a little, just taking off, some profits. And if we did get that pullback, then I can add it more here. It's all about risk management, folks. I don't need to go all in at any moment. I don't need to go all in right now. If a pullback happens, God forbid, if markets top here, then that'd be pretty bad. So it's always about risk management, always about the having some ammo in reserves, not to fire all your bullets. Yeah, that's I wish I had more evidence to make a more decisive call to say, look, I strongly lean towards a pullback here, or I strongly lean towards a fake out, and then we'll keep going. But I'm kind of 50-50 here, and I thought I'd just, and people and some people just say, oh, you say it could go up or down. Okay, sure, but would you rather me not share this information with you? Would you rather that you didn't know that this major signal was firing? Also, one thing about this signal is we don't know. See, that was the top and it came down. That was the top of the signal and it came down. We don't know this is the top of the signal or not, because have a look at here. We thought you could say this part was the top, but then it dipped and then it kept on going and then topped and came down. So that that first top came around here, right? Around the 50s, and then it topped around 73. So yeah, there was still one more burst here. So what could happen is we might be drawing this red line too prematurely, right? This signal. What if it pulls back a little and then goes for another top and then peaks? That could happen as well. And then that means Bitcoin could hit 130, 135K. I'm just showing you guys what the odds are, what the probabilities are. I'm sure for the people who are rational out there, you'd rather know the signals, know what has been triggered, what hasn't been, so that you could plan ahead of time and have proper risk management, rather than rely on somebody else to say, oh, I think it's 100% going up or 100% having a pullback. I hope that helps, folks. Okay, catch you for next episode, and thank you for tuning in.